My friends, what I was thinking of this morning and what Michelle and I were just talking about is one of the most important things that we've learned in psychology in the last 150 years is that what you give attention to grows. What you give attention to grows. And that's just become much, much clearer to me, over these past several years. And so, with all of the things that are going on right now, I want to have us come home to particularly giving and receiving curious, loving attention is one of the most powerful things that we can do for ourselves, for the people we know, for the people we don't know. And so I want to invite you to open up to what kind of attention you find most supportive, most nurturing, most loving. And I'd like you to just imagine that surrounding you so that you can reach out with your love scoops and bring that in anywhere that you want it. So give yourself a few minutes to recall a friend or a loved one in whose presence you have that sense of feeling completely held in love. And let yourself, your imagination is very powerful. And so letting yourself imagine that in a full sensory way, letting that spread out in you, particularly and including your mind, the kinds of thoughts that many of us default to, which are basically what's wrong and how am I wrong and everything's wrong. And letting yourself shift to giving your attention to creating love, enjoying love. And I really think of love at its very basis is being able to be in the same space with something that I'm feeling, some emotion, something that I'm thinking, something that's going on around me. Can I be with that and not just think about it, but actually be with? And so filling our own reservoirs is really the primary purpose of us doing love of loops and scoops, is that we're giving attention to ourselves, we're giving attention to each other. And so as you're expanding your own inner reservoir and you get even just a waft or an impulse or a thread, I'd like you to send that out. And particularly, to our gathered community here, but not just each of you, but whom each of you is connected to. So being willing to let your giving and receiving of love ripple. So as you're literally like looking at someone and letting yourself give them that same love that you're feeling. And then as you receive that, letting yourself receive that for everybody that you're connected to. And even the people whom you might have just, passed at the grocery store, all of those people, letting them receive that, I'm here, I'm being with you, and I can be with me. So as I am with you, and then I come back to being with me, that's sometimes what we forget. I think it's often what we forget, that we go, and disappear out there. And so coming back to, yes, I was just remembering summers when we would summer in Upper Michigan, and we would go to, we summered at well, not all summer, but we had a vacation at Hubbard Lake, and we would go over to, I think it was Lake Superior. And it was so clear that I could kind of walk on my hands with a little mask on and see all the way to the bottom of the lake. And there were just little ripples of water. And there was just, when I tune into that, I feel completely in touch with the connection of life and the nourishment of life and the nourishment for me. And that So that's one of my home bases that I go to. And then I let myself take that energy and let it circulate through me. And love scoops can really help with that. So I'm scooping in Lake Superior and the sun on me. And I got sun, but I never got sunburned. So that was great too. So a completely positive experience that then I can fill up my own reservoir and then let my attention go out. So I want to invite you to let yourself have that first you, and then letting that loving attention going out first to the people here, because I appreciate so much you being here, and letting yourself get nourishment from the community, many of whom you know, and at least you know their faces. You've seen them for several years now, and letting yourself was also occurring to me that humans that I've observed have much more difficulty receiving. So I'd like you to, as you're imagining other people on the call and other people that you know giving you loving attention, what does your body need to do? What does your mind need to do to actually receive? To deeply receive. And you might notice the thoughts that come up of, oh, I don't deserve it, or so many more people need it more than I do. And that imbalance is part of, I think, what fuels a continuing imbalance. So there's plenty of love. There's plenty of love. So filling yourself up and then letting that go out. So now when you're looking at people, I'd like you to imagine their whole community. So when you look at someone, I'd like you to imagine your loving attention going through them to their whole community, and letting that rest and get absorbed. And then bringing love back to you and noticing anything that's gotten activated by your upping the ante on giving and receiving more love. Like I'm feeling some tension, a little bit of in my shoulders, my anger area. And so I'm going to acknowledge, yeah, yes, I feel angry, and loving myself for feeling angry and bringing those love scoops. I'm noticing as I'm talking that I can feel the vibration of my voice, which I really love. I didn't used to be able to feel the vibration of my voice, but my inner space has expanded so much that I can feel that now. And I want to take a into my shoulders. You can let the of curiosity, of opening, complete, it can come with your giving yourself attention. So the also opens another channel for giving and receiving. And so you can let the go out to whomever you're connecting with, and connecting with that all the way through to their community. And their community, you know, as I'm thinking about what's going on in the Mideast right now, their community may be located in other places. So now letting your coming in and richly filling your own reservoir. And let yourself add any little, you know, you don't have to make big movements, but any little movement of your breath, spontaneous movement of your body allows you to soak it up more, allows you to receive more. So as you're circulating your loving attention out and letting it land, you know, like rain coming into the ground, and then back to you, feeling anything that you can do that's going to open up more receiving. And it may be very subtle. Like I was just feeling under my jaw. That's one of the places that I can get very fighty. So right under my jaw, I just doing a little, it's a little jiggling, and it's not, it's really an opening and a welcoming. So often we move in response to what's wrong. But if we were moving in response to, oh, I can make more space here. Oh, and I can make more space here. I'm thinking too of armpits. We hardly ever give any attention to armpits. So we can, ah, ah. That actually makes me very happy. I can feel that all the way down to my feet. So notice when you're giving attention to your armpits, how that moves through you. Armpits need love too. We often just are kind of trying to make them stop doing what they're doing. But if we just kind of celebrated, woo, that's where a lot of juiciness in our bodies is. Yeah, so I'm really having a lot of fun with this one. I don't know about you, but this one's got a lot of juice for me. Ah, it also allows us to spread our wingspan. Ah, so letting yourself, you could have an overhead view too of where out there you want to get your giving your loving attention to. Soaring and landing. So we think that we're limited to our physical bodies, and our energetic bodies are really limitless. We can travel all the way around the world and more with our energetic bodies. And so notice where, when you're giving attention out with your and your intention, just notice where it's wanting to go and letting yourself land there. Letting yourself really give love to what is. Michelle and I were just talking just before the call about how difficult it is for humans to get into harmony with what is actually happening. The F facing of FACT. And so let yourself give some loving attention to in you what I love, Jasmine, you're sharing your pup there. That's a great way of accessing love too. Of our animal companions are just so good at being with what is. This is what's happening right now in the present. And so letting yourself notice anything that you're having difficulty in facing right now, really getting into harmony with what is rather than jumping over it or turning away from it. And let yourself give some loving attention to the whole act of facing. What allows you to open up more of your being with what is and giving love to what is. So giving love to what is actually allows us to make shifts, energetic shifts, loving shifts. Now, as I'm doing this, and I want to invite you to use this as a blueprint for the week. There's a lot of stuff going on right now in the collective globally, and giving yourself loving attention for what's going on, letting your loving attention going out to what is, and really getting into harmony with what is before jumping into what can I do? What is next? What can I open to? That's the most important thing that we can do, in my opinion, is giving ourselves love as we get into harmony with what is. And then we can make choices about action. Yeah, so all of us, I think, need this today. I think the world needs this today. And I want you to remember that you're just as important as everything else that's going on. And so giving attention to you, to what you're experiencing, to what you're noticing, to what you're sensing, and loving that, That is letting yourself be with it as it is. I like to kind of put my arm around it or imagine that I'm sitting next to it on a porch swing, being with. That's what I want to invite you to use as your home base for this next period of time. Yeah, wonderful. Okay, and let's see what Presence Connect Play has for us today. Presence. Notice and follow what your body most wants to do. Yeah, so just giving attention and letting your body tell you, letting your body respond in whatever way it most wants to respond right now. I think that drops out first. I think many of us, we flee up, and even when we get fighty and we flee up and we fight forward, and we forget to come home to the exquisite body wisdom that we all carry. So letting your body respond, to me, is always, it's a jump starter, it's a shift move. It allows me to be with what is happening and allows my body to advise me. So one thing I wanted to share that I've shared before, but I don't know if you have all heard this, is that my experience is that my body wisdom speaks quietly. My body wisdom does not yell. And often it comes in from, I can kind of feel it. I have a new channel that's opened up. It's sort of from my back and in back of me. It reminds me of things I've forgotten. It's just wonderful. I've sort of activated this little memory a guide, and it goes, oh, wait a minute, the cream for the kittens. And so, but it's very quiet. So if you have a voice yelling at you, it is not your body wisdom. And so if you let your body open up, particularly moving and breathing, you're going to have much more access to that quiet voice, which is always loving and supportive. And it may not give you the whole picture, but it'll give you the best next step. So I find that if I let my body respond, then my body goes, okay, she's here, she's listening. And it will give me suggestions that always, they'll move me in a different direction, because my thoughts, my thinking brain can only work with what it's already got. So if you want to get new information, let yourself open up to your body. So connect is yes, and add appreciation. So my sense is that this is a really good way of getting into harmony with what is. So like, yes, this is happening. And I appreciate that I have resources that I can open up to. I appreciate that I have resources that I can share. So the yes is an acknowledgement. It's another version of facing. Yes. And then adding an appreciation shifts you from the, oh my God, to, all right, with appreciation, giving my sensitive awareness to, then I can find next steps. And then play is, this one could be one that you could play with for the whole week. Take the posture of the old story. Excuse me a second. I'm at the tail end of my thing where I have these little, well, I won't go into the detail, but I'm at the tail end of, that's probably a little TMI. Play is, whoops, I just touched play. So I'm going to take that as that's what the universe wanted me to do. And it now says, do the opposite. So that for me is also a really cool thing when I'm stuck in something, or I'm really mad at somebody, or I'm outraged. What's the actual opposite of that? And how can I let myself occupy or even just imagine the opposite of that for a moment? So for me, what's the opposite of outrage? For me, it's inclusion. What came immediately is including. And giving loving attention to everything that needs to be included, all the people that need to be included, all the feelings that need to be included. So doing the opposite and then playing with shifting to the opposite really can get you unstuck very, very quickly. So I want to invite you to use and please use FAC and well FACT during the week, but also use Presence Connect Play just to help you continue getting circulation of love and loving attention to yourself as we're all moving through this, really even more incredibly chaotic time where, my sense is that we haven't quite birthed the new. We're sort of in a birth canal that's, we're having a lot of difficulty in getting ourselves birthed. So your attention to that, I'm having a lot of sensations around my head, neck, and shoulders, which feels very birthy to me. So if you're noticing things like that, that's your body saying you're part of this transition also. And how can you give loving attention to even just the next step of greeting this with love and awareness? So thank you so much for being with me today and for being with each other and for creating this weave, which I experience that I can tap into anytime, that we've created something that is viable, and you can tap into it anytime that you want to get a sense of filling up your reservoir and knowing that you are loved and appreciated. So thank you. And please stay and be with each other as long as you want to. And I'll see you next time. Mwah. Bye now.